Now let's take a look at another story today. The Kremlin has dismissed a media report that links a Russian intelligence unit to so-called Havana syndrome. That's a mystery illness which has affected US diplomats. An investigation by the Insider, Der Spiegel and CBS alleges that the Americans were targeted with directed energy weapons. One victim of the syndrome, an FBI agent, told 60 Minutes about her experience of being hit by a powerful force while at her home in Florida in 2021.
And bam, inside my right ear, it was like a dentist drilling on steroids. That feeling when it gets too close to your eardrum, it's like that, times 10. It was like a high-pitched metallic drilling noise, and it knocked me forward at like a 45-degree angle this way.
Well, the syndrome was first identified in Cuba's capital city in 2016 when US diplomats complained of dizziness, headaches and a painful sound in their ears. US officials have previously said it's unlikely a foreign power is to blame. The Kremlin spokesman, Dmitry Peskov, says the new accusations are unfounded.
It is absolutely not a new issue. For many years, an issue of so-called Havana syndrome has been played up in mass media. Often it was connected with accusations of Russian involvement, but no one has ever published or expressed any convincing evidence of these unfounded accusations anywhere.
Well, let's speak now to news reporter Steve Dorsey, who broke the story of the syndrome affecting US personnel in Cuba in 2016 for CBS and has covered developments since. Steve, good to have you with us. Named for the Cuban capital, where it was first reported, but this has cropped up in various other locations as well, hasn't it?
Absolutely. We've been hearing over the years of cases spreading throughout China, originating first in Guangzhou. We've been reporting on at least one case in Uzbekistan. Now we're hearing from 60 Minutes and other reporters that there have been cases in Ukraine, in Germany, and now the Pentagon and the White House confirming that last year at a NATO summit, a senior DOD official, a Pentagon official, had similar symptoms as this purported Havana syndrome, which the federal government here in the U.S. is now calling anomalous health incidents. That's a evolution of what were first described as health attacks by the U.S. State Department. So far, though, not much more information publicly revealed by the Biden administration.
So we've heard about some of the symptoms, earaches, headaches, nosebleeds, and this has been all attributed to some kind of so-called directed energy attack. What could be causing this?
Well, listen, there's been a lot of research over the years, studies done by universities, by the National Institutes of Health, by academic journals, theorizing what could be behind these strange constellations of injuries and symptoms, everything from what we're hearing is a directed energy device, which 60 Minutes has described as something that could be like a secret sonic weapon that is perhaps developed by a secret military intelligence unit of Russia. Or it could be microwave signals aimed at U.S. diplomatic personnel, but also undercover intelligence officers in Cuba and elsewhere around the world, other officers working for different parts of the government, including the FBI. Or listen, we've heard much other skepticism of this, including from Cuba itself, saying that it had no involvement in this. It could have been loud crickets at the time, or it could have been in the imagination of all these folks that claim they have things as severe as mild traumatic brain injury, which was, according to some victims, noted in scans of their brains.
And finally, Steve, what do you make of the contention on the one hand that this could be attributed to Russia? Russia, as we've heard, denies this. On the other hand, we have had the US government previously saying that it doesn't believe a foreign power is behind these attacks.
And that's something that some of the victims have been complaining about, that the U.S. isn't taking this seriously enough. There's been doubts about whether an adversary is involved, whether there is any kind of weapon involved, whether their injuries are actually real. But we do know that there is reporting and intelligence that suggests a foreign adversary could be involved in this. It could be Russia. It could be another adversary. But there are conclusions that it's likely not Cuba necessarily involved to a full extent, that they simply don't have the resources or the technology capable of launching these supposed attacks.
OK, Steve, thank you very much. Steve Dorsey.